guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Chelsea. I'm a mother of two. I have a 5-year-old daughter who is currently in like transitional kindergarten, and then I have about to be a 2-year-old son. He is just in play mode, so we're not going to talk about him very much. This video is going to be all about my daughter's kindergarten / transitional kindergarten year. She is a very late birthday, so if she was in public school, if we were in public school, she would technically still be in like preschool, because I don't think we have transitional kindergarten here in Texas. So if she was in public school, she wouldn't be in kindergarten yet. She would be more so in like the transitional phase because she's a late September birthday. But most of her friends are all in kindergarten, and so we're working on kindergarten stuff. This video today is gonna be all about our first semester of kindergarten and how it went, how it's going. I'm gonna touch bases on my last video of what we planned on using and what worked and what didn't work out this semester. So if you're interested in any and all of those things, please stay tuned. I just realized you probably see all of my mess in the background because this is my playroom, and if you follow me on Instagram, we are currently in the process of renovating our house, so just ignore the background. We are going to start off with math. So in my last video, I spoke about Singapore dimensions. So Singapore dimensions is what we used for our preschool year. I really liked it. I will say, we started the year off with this. We did not finish the year off with it. We started the year off with this. We did not finish this semester off with this. The reason is the teacher's guide in this program is more geared towards a public school, in my opinion. It's a lot of group activities, group work, stations, stuff like that, which just in my homeschool scenario doesn't work out or just doesn't fit for us. So, and also there's the teacher's guide. This is the first semester. So this is just a teacher's guide. How Singapore works is you have a teacher's guide, you have a workbook, and then you also have a textbook for each semester. That's just a lot for me. And I also didn't like the fact that the workbook and the textbook were separate, and then I didn't have access to the teacher's guide from my phone, so I had to have all these things out when I was trying to teach a lesson, and I couldn't look at this in the night before. Usually what I like to do is the night before when I'm laying in bed, I'll go through my teacher's guides and see like, okay, what's the goal for tomorrow? What are we working on? Because I have this as a physical copy, I couldn't prep from my phone for the next day while laying in bed, which I really didn't like. So needless to say, we tossed out Singapore Dimensions math, and also I didn't like the fact it doesn't review. So we got to lesson, how far did we get in this? We got pretty far. We got to shapes. So we got to unit 4. So we got about this much through, about halfway through the program. We got to unit 4 where we started teaching about shapes, and my daughter still was struggling with the recognition of numbers, predominantly 5 to 10. Not counting 1 to 10, she can do that, but recognizing like 6 is 6, 7 is 7, and all of that stuff was really a struggle for her still. And there was no spiral review happening within this program, which I didn't like. And I really wanted to have for us. So those are some of the cons that this program had within it and why we ended up ditching it. Now, because I am still talking about this semester and we ended up bringing in this semester, Math with Confidence. I don't have the teacher's guide because I have the teacher's guide on my phone, which I love having because every night I can look in my, I'm scrolling my phone, I can go to my phone, I can go to the PDF document. My daughter doesn't need to see the teacher's guide, it's just for me. So I have it in my phone, in my PDF document files, and I'll look through like, okay, what are we on? What lesson? What are we working on? I love this. Each lesson is only 1 page. So if you haven't seen Math with Confidence, I've torn out a few pages just to make it simpler. I don't even know what lesson we started on, but each lesson is only 1 workbook page. You'll start off with review, and then there are usually a lot of games, a lot of activities. It is made for homeschoolers, so it's a lot of one-on-one stuff. My son, sometimes when we have like manipulatives and like puzzle pieces activities, he'll come in and he'll do those with us. But I'm loving this. I am loving Math with Confidence. I am so glad that we made the switch. This is a full grade, not even semester. This is a full grade workbook. I don't need a workbook and a textbook and a teacher's manual for each semester. It is all right here for me, which I love. And then also with the teacher's manual that's on my phone, it's just one file. So I am loving Math with Confidence. We will be sticking with it. If you want a more in-depth flip through of this, or if you want a more like Math with Confidence and Singapore, why we switched, pros, cons type video, comparison video, let me know. They are both very similar in the fact that they're manipulatives heavy, and they're more about the concept of math rather than just the memorization of math facts. So if you want a more in-depth video on that, just let me know. But this is what we are finishing off our year with math. Moving on. Explode the code. Excuse the fact that this is all drawn on. So we have finished the Get Set for the Code series. There was Get Ready for the Code, Get Set for the Code, Go for the Code. We finished all of these books, all of them, all the way through. I love this. If you were looking for something to give your kid a more foundation in their phonics and letter sounds and grasping these letter sounds before blending. So this is all about practice before blending. You're more so working on what sounds words start with. I think there was some sounds ends with towards the end of this, but I love Get Set, Go for the Code series. We will and are continuing with this. Isn't it beautiful? I have such a love-hate relationship with this program. We did finish the Good and the Beautiful preschool workbook. I think I already talked about this in a previous video. If so, I will link it down below. So we did finish our preschool course book. Like I said, this is more so like a transitional kindergarten year, not a full kindergarten year. I'm still to be determined. But we did finish this pretty early on in the year. And then after we finished this, I really wanted to start All About Reading. And I have a whole video about how the plans were to move on with All About Reading, and it didn't work out. So I do have the entire All About Reading program. It didn't work out for us. I really wanted to. I think it's more so, it's just too many words on one page at a time for my daughter. So I don't have the sheets with me of like the, what are they called? Like the practice fluency sheets. So this is just like an example. I have these practice fluency sheets that my daughter sees. I didn't get that far in the program. This is lesson 8. I think we only even tried 2. But like lesson 8, you're already reading from a sheet that this long, this many words on one page, and I didn't like the format of it after trying it. We like to work also with like their CVC words. That is what they're really trying to focus on with this level. I like taking VC words like at, am, and then adding a consonant in front of it. So like pat, mat, cat, and really working on the foundations of reading through rhymes. And this doesn't do that. It kind of almost like tries to trick you where you have at and then it goes to am and then it goes to it. I didn't like that. I want to try to just practice reading through, build fluency in reading through practice. And unfortunately, this program, it wasn't it for now. Maybe in the future, we can come back to it. I would love that because I have everything. I would love to be able to come back to it. But as of right now, we're stepping back from All About Reading. Because All About Reading wasn't working with us, when I purchased the preschool program for the Good and Beautiful, I already had the Kinder Prep program. It came in that package. So we finished it. Kindergarten Prep of the Good and Beautiful, you're working on mastering the letter sounds, which I feel like the Explode the Code series helped us build a lot stronger foundation in that. But this was a really pretty way to really nail those practice in a different visual format, in my opinion. This is kind of just what I'm using the Good and the Beautiful for, is kind of taking what we're learning within Explode the Code and making it more fun. Because Explode the Code follows a set foundation and every lesson is the same. This takes it and makes it pretty. and fun and activity based and workbook based, which my daughter loves. So other things, you are mastering vowels, a lot of vowel practice within this program, and then it does start working on building some blending. So like, for example, here's a lesson. It talks about clouds in the sky, and you're wanting to read the words clouds in the sky. And my daughter, I put a dot of it above each because I would have her say the sound of each. So at, and then she would blend them. And then when she got it, I put a check. I did that for all of these, and she was able to read all of these words fluently by the end. And then it has some matching of uppercase and lowercase letters. It has building of words, which she cut out and then she glued. So it is working on some more dexterity practice of cutting and gluing. Another page of, I'm looking for example, the first child on the top row has red shoes, and then you're supposed to read their sign. So I put check marks as she was able to read on this. So this was a little bit of just VC practice and blending her words. So this was another program that we were able to get through. I wouldn't even say program. I think it was just 30 lessons, but this is another program that workbook more so. This is another workbook that we were able to get through within this first semester. For science, my daughter was really into dinosaurs at the beginning of the year. So I bought the big book of science series from The Good and the Beautiful. I think it's called The Little Hearts and Hands. This didn't work out. I have this series as well as the Nest and Burrows book. It's just not hands-on enough for us. It's just a lot of reading, which we already do every day, which I'll talk about within our Build Your Library and Torchlight program. So we didn't do this. It's cute. It's pretty stories, fun stories, but there were no activities within this program to really nail home what we're learning. So will I keep this for future use? Maybe, to be determined, but as of right now, we're throwing out the Good and the Beautiful Little Hearts and Hands units. The last programs that we're using this semester are Torchlight and Build Your Library. Now I'm going to touch first on Build Your Library, and then I'll touch base on Torchlight. I don't have anything physical in my hand for Torchlight because I have all the PDFs on my phone. It is a PDF document, both of these programs. I did print off a lot of the Build Your Library with hopes of using more of it, but we're not. Build Your Library, I love the continent order, but the more I go through this program and Torchlight, the more I see why Torchlight kind of has us jump around the world, and the difference between Build Your Library and Torchlight. If I could choose one of them moving forward, I would probably only stick with Torchlight. So Build Your Library also has a lot of good books, so I'm just at this point pulling books from Build Your Library to add to my Torchlight curriculum. But Torchlight's kind of become our main component, and I'm just pulling little bits and pieces from Build Your Library. They are both geography based. They are both around the world studies. Build Your Library goes in a more continental order. So you'll start off with like North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, and Antarctica, so forth. I don't know if that's the exact order, but for example, you'll study countries within each continent. Whereas Torchlight, there's no rhyme or reason that I'm aware of. You more so just kind of country hop all around the world, which keeps things fresh and interesting. If I were to redo this, like I said, I would probably just stick with Torchlight and pull books from this. We have enjoyed a lot of the books. There have been a lot of good books from the Build Your Library and Torchlight series combination. Our favorite that we got from this one was The Very, Very Far North. That was the first ever chapter book read aloud that I did with my daughter, and it was like a 5 out of 5 stars. This is our first semester doing chapter books read aloud, and we finished 13 chapter books this year, which is crazy. I don't have them all on hand, and maybe even bring my daughter and do like a review video with her. That'd be really cute, and just hear her opinion, her reviews of all the books that she read this semester. She didn't read. I read them out loud because she can't read yet, but it was still a lot of fun, a lot of good stories. So I think that is it for what we've done this semester so far. I plan on making a different video soon about semester 2 and what our plans are for the second half of the school year for kindergarten. So if you're interested in seeing that video, what changes we plan on making, I feel like I kind of touched bases on a little bit of them here, but if you're interested in a separate video just on what changes we're making for the second half of the year, leave a comment below. And I think that's it. I have notes that I'm like looking at, but I think I touched base on everything so far. I don't know. I hope you guys are all having a great school year so far, and leave a comment. Let's see. Leave a comment below with your favorite program this year and least favorite program this year that you've experienced so far. I want to see those in the comments. And if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!